Okay. I have a genius idea for a new FNAF game. It's kind of a mix of Security Breach and FNAF. Right? Like, first of all, it's not gonna be nowhere near as big as the FNAF Security Breach. Matt, but how about this, right? You're playing as a security guard who's working at a factory where they make the animatronics, right? Right? Right, this is like for like the delivery service, right? Like there's a factory that's making all the animatronics. There's like Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, aka right Golden. No, there's Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, um, Fredbear, Spring Bonnie, Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, Mango, um. Balloon Boy, Puppet, Withered Freddy, Withered Chica, Withered Bonnie, Withered Foxy, all the Shadow ones, all of those, Spring Trap, right? Right, and like what you can do is that once you beat the game, you can like have reskins of the animatronics. Like so, once you beat the game, you can like change like Freddy into Icicle Freddy or Phantom Freddy or like that, right? Right, and you can change their skins, right? So, Fredbear could be Golden Freddy, right? Springtrap could be, Spring Bonnie, right? Right, right. And the whole reason is, oh, this is for the whole FNAF AR delivery service thing, right? And the factory's kind of big. Right, what happens is that you have security cameras for the entire thing, right? And if like the power goes out or something like that, then you need to get out and use your flashlight to press a switch for 10 seconds and then let go of it to reset the power and reset the generators. And what can happen is that you have two doors and then one big one, right? Right? Right, and right, you have two big doors that can close and one big door that can also close. There's like a light that's flickering in there, so like a lot of times it's on, but it's not even that good, and sometimes it just flickers on and off. Right, there's a vent behind you and like the cupcake can go in there, right? So along with having to check both of the doors, you're gonna have to check, you're gonna have to go and walk and check that door. You're gonna have to use audio cues. If you hear mechanical or like gargly noises, you'll have to close it. If you don't, then flicker it. And if there's an animatronic in there, flicker it for a couple seconds, just like on and off, and then they'll go away. Right? And then for the big door, your desk will just have a button for the light, and then you press it, and that's where the animatronics can also come. Right? You'll also have to check behind you for that cupcake. Right? What happens is that because the cupcake doesn't have any legs, it has to kind of hop. Right? 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 But since it's small, it doesn't make that much noise, so you have to listen carefully. Right? And then if it is back there, then you have to hold it back, right? Right? Like you'll have to press like F, like a random keyboard button that you can choose to hold the animatronic back, right? And you'll have to like smash a button, keep on pressing it like a timed event. If you don't, it'll come through and jump scare you, right? 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 So what'll happen is that the animatronics can come from any of the three doors, but what can also happen is that you'll also need to reboot the systems, right? 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 So for like, if the cupcake messes with the ventilation, then there will be more than one animatronic. There could be two spring traps, two toy Freddies, or like five of them, a random amount, right? Right, and the animatronics will look even scarier, right? right? And you'll need to reset it. If the cameras go off, then you obviously won't be able to see them, right? You'll also need to wind up the music box, right? And what can also happen is that you can actually just camp in there, right? But there's 2 generators, right? Right? Because this is a bigger place, the door can be turned off for an hour, right, before it dies. But because of that, you'll be playing until 7 to 8 a.m. 7 a.m. on the first couple nights and 8 a.m. as the game continues. But what happens is that you need to go physically switch it. You'll need to go through the factory. That's where like the sister location part comes in. But the animatronics will be chasing you, or all the ones that are near your office, right? But then if you hide or get too far from them, then they'll still continue to do it, right? And what'll happen is that you can either go through the front door, which is not advised because they can follow you out, or you'll need to go into like a break room and go through one of the vents and deal with the cupcake, then go out and then find the vent that goes outside, go in there, and then switch the cable. There's gonna be 2 generators outside, right? And they're gonna have wires that connect to the generator, just like a bunch of wires, and they're gonna there's like this little black cable, like the tip of a black cable. You'll need to switch it, and then you'll need to go back inside, right? And then it'll be back, right? And then what'll happen is that when you get back in there, the only thing that's gonna be working is your like tablet, right? Right, because what'll happen is that the cameras will try to run on generator 1, so you'll need to click run on generator 2, right? And the generators only start charging once the other one dies, right? But to be fair, to slow the animatronics down, lights actually do work on them, right? Like in the first couple nights in the beginning, lights will completely stop them, right? But as the game continues, it'll be less and less effective, right? But to compensate for that, the battery on your flashlight is going to be a lot, right? And it'll be like a smart one. It'll have like what percent it's at. And you can either just switch out the batteries you can find in the factory, or you can charge it, right? Or you can find another flashlight, right? Right. So the lights load on the animatronics, right? And what you can do is that you can use your light and like do a puzzle based mini game, right? And make like a little phaser blaster, right? Except there's a negative side effect. It temporarily blinds you for a couple seconds, but it blinds the animatronics longer, right? It's way more effective than a flashlight, but it affects you a little bit, right? Right, you can also find like this little like, the thing Mike used in the movie to catch the cupcake when it was jumping at him. You can find that and use that against a cupcake. It'll last for like a minute maybe. And for the animatronics, it'll last for like 25 seconds before, right? It'll last for like 20 seconds before they start coming back online, and then it'll take 5 seconds for them to come back online, right? Right? Right. You can also hide on against the animatronics, right? But because right, and one thing that is actually like good is that they have like red eyes, right? So when they're finding you, they'll have like red eyes, and the only right? So if they're looking like here, but the red light isn't like somewhere over here, they can't see that. So if they're like looking on under the tables, or they're like sweeping against you, and they do that a couple times, you know you're just screwed. So yeah, right, right, right. And the reason of why can't you just turn on the light and keep them all paused is because since the company wants to save money, they have to those generators that are used for nights only work for your office and a couple of the lights, right? What you can also do is that you can run away from the animatronics by using the conveyor belts, right? Right. Right. What you can also do is that you can like go on like one of the like you can go on the ceiling, right? Right. Right. Um right, like there's like um there's like vents that go all across like the like it's gonna be a security office, the main entrance, right? And then it's gonna be the factory. There's gonna be vents like going across the roof of the um of the what is it again? The the place where they make the animatronics, like where the conveyor belts are, and it can go into your office and stuff, right? And you can climb on those. But what can happen is that the cupcake can come out and get you, and that'll slow you down. Right, so if all the animatronics are chasing you, right, and it's in like one of the later nights, right, and there's not a vent near you, your flashlight's about to die, there's no batteries or charging stations nearby, then you can just go up there, right, but it won't last long. Because eventually the animatronics will figure out that if they just destroy, right, if they destroy it at the middle part, right, if they destroy it at the middle part, if they destroy it at both ends, it'll all come crumbling down. So they'll start to hit it, and you'll be able to see the cracks and stuff. So you'll have to get down, right, right. What else? You can also tase the animatronics, right? Right, like there's these like circuit breakers in the factory, right? So then that way, if like they're assembling an animatronic, right, and like once it's assembled and it's on the conveyor belt, and it's and robot arms are putting it in a like in the packaging, but then one of the factory workers notices that, oh, it's that the arm is malfunctioning, they can disable it and fix it, right, right. What you can do is that you can wait when the animatronics around that, and then you can rush them. What you can, and then you can like shove their, right. What'll happen is that if they're a big animatronic, you can shove them, and their chest will be electrocuted, right, and they'll be like offline for like a minute, right, before, right, they'll be on offline for like 50 seconds, and then they'll take 10 seconds to power back online. But if they're short animatronics and you hit them in the head, what'll happen is that it'll last for 2 minutes, but you have the chance of being injured, right? Right, because with the chest it's way bigger, it'll take the electricity way longer to reach you. So if you kick them, right, and they get electrocuted, right, then you're safe. But if they have but if they're the short ones and you throw their head there, then the electricity can reach you, right? Right, right, which will temporarily slow you down, right, right, right. So on the first night, right, the only animatronics that will be active is Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and occasionally Spring Bonnie, right? And occasionally, you'll see like a green robot Springtrap wander around, right? But he won't actually come in your office, right? right? With FNAF 2, all the FNAF 2 animatronics are going to be there, right? And they're going to start attacking, and because of that, the FNAF 1 animatronics will attack less, but they'll still attack. So, yeah, you still have to worry about them, right? And then for the FNAF 3 one, Springtrap's just going to get way more aggressive, right? Right? And what he's gonna do is that he's gonna put a little bit of hallucinogenic gas into the air systems and make you hallucinate some of the phantoms, not all of them, right? Right? No, like you'll be hallucinating all of them, but they'll attack way less than any of the other animatronics, right? 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 And the only real way to keep him at bay is to shine a light at him, right? You can't play any audios, which we'll come back to later. And then for the FNAF 4 ones, what'll happen is that they'll be like, you'll see them come to life, right? And it turns out that they're just like, this is a good time to put like fan models in. Like maybe if Scott could get like a Reddit user repaired the FNAF 4 animatronics, like use Photoshop to see what they could look like if they were repaired. Right, and maybe what we could do is that, those were early versions of the FNAF 1 game that were scrapped and never used, right? And they're being replicated, right? Right, but they're, right? Right. But the hallucinogenic gas and the sound disc make them look like the FNAF 4 counterparts, right? But because they're way older, they won't attack as much. They'll attack way less, right? Right? But they'll still attack, right? And this means that either Chica's cupcake from FNAF 1 can attack you, a Phantom cupcake, or the Nightmare cupcake, or the Jacko cupcake, right? And then for sister location, right, what can happen is that William is that for one night one night William's gone and you see him go into a place, right? And then if you investigated that place earlier before, you know that there's a secret entrance, and then he goes there, and then at the end of the night you hear someone climbing and bringing something big and heavy outside. And then you turn something on, and then you hear a high-pitched scream, and it's just black. And then the Fun Times are also attacking. Right? And it's right. But before the right. So yeah, right. Right. And what's the reason? Right? I mean, okay, why is the reason they're attacking you? Why? Right, maybe the reason is because a factory worker died, right? Like maybe what happened was that a factory worker was like working on repairing the vents, but then something broke out of the vents and bit his heart out, right? And what happened was that these animatronics are gonna get shipped away, right? And he was working right on top of them, but then they noticed that Cupcake was missing and they heard rattling in the vents, but they thought that it might have been like a rat. So he was working on like double reinforcing the vents, so that way any technician needed to crawl through them, they could ensure that they were safe. And then like the Cupcake broke out of it and just grabbed his heart and just started and just destroyed it, and then went away, right? And then all of his like blood, right? And then like right? And then what happened was that the code that the owner of the facility knew this was bad, right? So what he did was that he realized that the police were onto him, right? If this was like came public news, they would search the robots, right? Right. So what happened was that he like dipped them in like robotic like metallic paint and hid them in very obscure places inside the robots, right? And right, and um and that's why they're all attacking you, because they're like possessed again by this by the guy who worked there, right? Right. Right. So what you can do is that you can upgrade your flashlight, right? Like have it take more batteries or have the batteries last longer, right? You can get you can get a taser, you can upgrade a taser, right? Right. You can make the like faster cam thing, but like out of a flashlight and a very rudimentary one, right? Right. You can get a right, and what can happen is that maybe what happened was that to reference like Pymation, um um Foxy had a crowbar that they were using to like open one of the vents that was sealed, and the coworker just put it on Foxy's hand and forgot about it. So you can play like this mini game where you have to flash Foxy with like you have to quickly turn on, but you have to like quickly flash a light at him and grab it, and you have to be real fast, right? Like you have to press a button to grab it real fast, and if you're even and if you're like 2 seconds too late, and you're like, okay, I finally got the time to press it, he'll jump scare you, right? And then you grab it, right? And then you quickly get out of there and lock the door, right? Right? But then what can happen is that like if you're running away from the animatronics and you like hide in a door, the animatronics will like break through it. You'll try and hold it back, right? But then they'll like break through it, right? But then you'll hear like a quick wood breaking, and then immediately you'll get taken out and jump scared. So it'll be like what grabbing, jump scared immediately. So then that way nobody has time to process what'll happen and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get jump scared, right? And what we can do is that we can put steel doors there, but they're like very thin, right? So what can happen is that they'll take a couple hits. They'll take like two hits, and then before they get broken, right? Right, and like for difficulty modes, for like the maximum, what we can do is that the animatronics can start breaking the glass, right? And every night they get more aggressive, so you're gonna have to spend some of the time you come in here, right? Like an hour before the shift starts to upgrade things. You'll have to spend a lot of that time upgrading the glass so they don't break in and like send the cupcake or get in there and jump scare you, right? Right. Um, right. You'll also have to reinforce the doors too, right? Because eventually they'll start kicking the doors down, right? Right. And you'll also have to reinforce the vents, right? So you can, right? So yeah, that's just an idea.